note. So warm welcome and over to you, sir. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here. It's also good to know, listen and mingle with our co-speakers and listening to their sessions as well. It's really great. And without further ado, I'll continue on with my topic. It's about analyzing sentiments from customer feedback. By the way, to set everyone's expectations, I would like to have a little bit of interaction with you. Um, okay, before that, I will just introduce myself. I'm a solution specialist for Future Workplace. Technically, it's pre-sales role. I'm a Power Platform enthusiast. I would not say expert. I'm a person who really loves Power Platform, developing applications and automations as well with Power Automate. And it's something that really interests me, especially when people are able to, get benefits out of it, especially myself. So yeah, I'm Power Platform enthusiast, and some background also. I've helped different organizations from different roles that I've had previously with their implementation, with support, training, workshops. I've done Power Apps, consulting, building Power Apps, and Power Automate workflows as well. And for my topic, I just have three items in my agenda. Why customer feedback is important, how to automate analyzing of sentiment, and how we can use that to analyze customer feedback. And I'll show you a demo of how I've done it and how it works as well. So I mentioned earlier, I need some help from you, some interaction as well. Please scan the QR code um, and answer this question. What is sentiment in your own words? So let's give it about 2 minutes. Also, our participants from online, I would love to hear from you as well what you think about when you hear the word sentiment. Okay, let's see what we have here. Oh, wow. Thank you for these inputs. What is sentiment? We got 100% mental. Wow.
Not sure.
Feelings, emotions. Right, I see a lot of emotions, positive or positivity, feelings, emotion associated with something. So yeah, emotions. It's the topmost uh, response that we've got for this. Thank you for very much for your participation. So now sentiment is we have defined sentiment in our own words. Then now we will talk about why customer feedback is important. Right? We might not think about it. We might have some form in our businesses or probably in sessions like this as well that we ask for feedback. But what about it? What's the benefit that we can get out of it? So one would be to improve the customer experience. So for example, we have this session with the community. Our customers are the community, the people who joins us, participates with us, listening to us. Could be a business, a food business, a restaurant, for example, right? If you're familiar with Google reviews, if you're familiar with Bing Maps as well, if you're familiar with um, Yelp, oh, there are other platforms that asks for customer feedback. And it is important because we can identify from where you can make necessary improvements to your customer experience. We always say customer is always number one, right? And that is true because we'll not have business if we don't have customers, right? So we can use customer feedback to improve the customer experience. The next one is to identify opportunities. So based from the feedback of our customers, then we will know what are those unmet needs. What are those opportunities for us to innovate, to grow, and have that differentiation from competitors. So for example, food business, you may think about there's a lot of fast food businesses, right? Burger King, McDonald's, there's Jollibee for Filipinos also, but I think locals love that also. The Chicken Joy. So they're fast food restaurants. They almost serve the same food, right? They have burgers, they have fries. They could have some differentiation in terms of the food items that they offer, but technically it's the experience that differentiates these businesses. So we can identify these unmet needs and areas for growth and to measure performance as well. We can monitor how well we are meeting customers' needs and identify these areas for improvement. The customer feedback is not just hearing from them, but also getting what they think about our product or the service that we're providing. Lastly, to build trust and loyalty. And this is where we can demonstrate care to our customers to build that trust and loyalty with them. How would you feel if, let's say, an owner of a business respond to your feedback or to your rating about your business? For me, I would feel valued, right? I would feel important because that means that this business owner cares about what I think. So this is what we're actually going to touch on building the trust and loyalty. That is why we will use automation to analyze these sentiments of these customers from the feedback of customers and how we can respond to them in a positive way and reinforce that build and trust with these customers. So how are we going to do that? We will use Power Automate. We will use a specific connector called Analyze Positive or Negative Sentiment in Text. It is under the AI Builder group of connectors, and it's easy to use. So if you're a low-code developer like me, or a citizen developer, I would say, it's definitely going to be easy for you to develop such as this. And take note, you're going to use AI technology for building this kind of solution.
Yeah.
But technically, it's pre-built AI model that Microsoft has built already, and we can leverage on that technology. Yep.
Can we ask questions?
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So sorry, I might preempt your presentation, but do you need this to be on top of a social listening tool, or are you gonna be showing it?
Yes. So you can use social media tools.
Sorry,
Right,
social
amazing.
listening tool.
So social listening tools. You can have. I think Dynamics has that. Or you can use social media platforms as well. In Power Automate, you can connect Facebook, Twitter, uh, other connectors within social media platforms as well to get this feedback.
Okay.
For my demo, I'll be using Microsoft Forms, which you can also embed on your own websites or publicly.
Sorry,
So-
to ask Amanda, what is the social listening? Like, give us an example.
So social listening tool, like what are some of the examples? But basically, what it actually do is that gets all the feedback and sentiments from different channels
Ah,
and put it in one interface and says that okay, so for example, Amanda is an irate customer,
Yeah.
something like that, right?
yeah,
So we don't have that capability in Dynamics in our
Ah.
marketing,
yeah.
and we don't have a social listening tool within Microsoft. So if this is
So when
something
you
that
say social listening tool, it's almost like an aggregator from different.
it is
Aggregator.
actually a system.
Actually, Microsoft Social Listening initially, I think they
There
released
was,
one,
but
then
they
Yeah.
removed it.
So,
Yeah.
so we leverage on
Social
partner
engagement.
ecosystem.
Yeah, correct.
ISPs like.
Like
Adobe,
Sprinkler.
Sprinkler.
Correct, like
do that.
sprinkler, meltwater,
So
each other.
this one, Amanda, the use case in these scenarios is a bit different in a way that this is, those social listening tools basically provide you dual engagement, like two-way engagement.
Yeah, you can reply.
So you can, get post and then you can reply to those posts or those engagements. However, this one is that to pick up that particular, interaction and trigger a set of actions or activity behind the scene. So this could actually land into customer service and say
Right.
that, hey,
Right.
somebody came back to a Twitter and using a Twitter handler, showed their discontent with the service, but now you need to go back and react to
Exactly.
them. So this can actually go into those
Pull
use
it,
cases.
pull those data,
Correct,
right?
correct.
So that's where I'm going, actually, a deal good point. So for example, if we have use cases that require that kind of like a social listening, but they want it natively within Microsoft. So we can do what he is showing on top of like marketing or CS, right? And put it
Yeah.
on top
So,
of
so
marketing.
because of the term social listening always connected with two-way engagement.
Yeah.
We don't use that. However, reaction to sentiment is something that we can do now. So
Right.
like, use Facebook and all.
Yeah.
Because social listening will again go and expand into, I don't want to cut your time, sorry.
Right, that's fine.
But
Sorry.
just to, it goes into outreach as well.
Yeah.
And if I want to do an outreach, so we don't have that.
We don't
you
have
know,
that
And we don't do it from marketing model, we do it through consumer insights and all that.
Right, right. Okay.
So it goes into various segmentations of services.
Perfect. But this is super helpful. Right. Sorry.
True. Thank you for those inputs. Actually, the scenario that I'm going to show in the demo as well is more of that, reinforcing and responding to customer feedback as well. How we can automate that, without you, reading all through these feedback manually and then responding to them manually. I'm going to show you how we can automate that. And also, you can be creative with these ideas. I'll show you just probably a proof of concept, and you can definitely add your own flavor to it. So these connector actually gives us a score. So it will analyze the text input that you put in here, and then it will score and label that either is it a negative, positive, or a neutral sentiment. So I'll be needing your help again for my demo. So this QR code will redirect you to Microsoft Forms. It's just a sample form that I've built for gathering customer feedback. But definitely you can have other inputs as well to gather feedback. So it could be from social media. It could be from Twitter account of your company. It could be Facebook account of your company. So if they put in comments or post, then you can also take advantage of that. For this, I will so I'll show you how it looks like. So I built this workflow wherein I captured the customer feedback and then analyze the comments on that feedback. Then this connector will analyze either is it a positive one, negative, or neutral. And then from there, I also added some flavor to it. Good thing that uh, our kids already shared with us, ChatGPT, OpenAI. I added that also here as a form of response. Definitely, you can also capture this or have a database of this in a SharePoint list, Excel, or Dataverse if you want. You can capture this sentiment and yeah, probably create a Power BI report out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have a more holistic view of a customer sentiment as a general. So let me walk you through. So when a response is submitted to that customer feedback, you'll get a response, or you'll get the response and get the details, and then pass that on. So I use the provide details, provide comments about your sentiment, about your rating, and then that's the input to the connector, and then it will analyze it. I'm trying to get the overall sentiment, not just one, because you can actually get sentiment per sentence. If the feedback, if the input is multiple sentences, it will try to score that every sentence, and it will aggregate that. So I'm just getting the overall. So if there's more positive than negative, then it will give us a positive one. And then I'll check if it's positive. Then if it is, I will just post a message in the channel as a chat bot. This is for me to just see or be notified as well if there is um, a new feedback. For example, let's go up. For example, this, right? This is for me to just get a notification. Um, and then I will pass it on to this OpenAI uh, connector to produce a response. It could be a response through email, or it could be another post back to, let's say, a reply to a Twitter post or a Facebook post. But generally, it will you know it will provide a response for you automatically, and then capture that. Also capture that in Teams channel, or sorry, in a Teams chat. I just added a compose connector here to format it in HTML, and then create. I added this also just to create a draft, but definitely you can automate it without you touching it. It will generate different responses based on the feedback. I'll show you later. And send it to the customer or through email, through different channels, through their social media, for example. But this one, it will just create a draft for you. At least you still have control before you send to customers, right? You don't want the AI to just provide response totally. You might still want to review it before sending it. So that is why I added this layer. So now what happened is that, for example, I got this response. The feedback was excellent. Sentiment it produces was positive. Then it generated this text. I'm so pleased to hear that. Thank you for your kind words. What will happen is that it will actually create a draft of that based on the feedback you have given. So the subject is like, I just put it generally, thank you for your feedback. Then hi, and then the name of the person. This is based from what we've captured in Microsoft Forms. And then this text is actually generated by the Chat GPT. So from the OpenAI connector, I added that. So this will be personalized. It will not be a generic one that you will sound like a robot. The tone of your response is always the same. This one you can personalize. And the last action that I've made in the Power Automate is it will just create a draft, but it's ready for you to send right away. So you can send this right away. and it will be this one. But if you would want to add more flavor to it, or probably you didn't like the response from the generative AI, then you can edit it first before you send. But for me, I like this. I'll send it over. Then you receive that email. This one also was the same.
I did the
So,
negative one. So if you can go up, let's see how it responded back to my negative. Up.
up.
Yeah, the first one, yes.
Yeah, so negative one. That's interesting. So,
Used, coffee. I said I was, I was delayed in my coffee, receiving my coffee.
mhm,
Wanted to see how it responded back.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
Amazing.
It's
It
very
offers
natural.
10% discount. Yeah, amazing.
true. Now the generative AI technology is
Powerful.
really more personal.
Yeah.
It sounds really human-like. That's why I added this, flavor too.
Superman. Superman gave a
The interesting thing here is that, you know, what comes out to me seems like augmentation. To your point, I don't think I would take it verbatim.
Mm-hmm.
I'd kind of look at, because I mean, the 10% discount, if I were to offer it, my finance guy will kill me.
Exactly.
So to wait, process it, and then say, especially for business consultants, hey, what are the three top use cases for like a dirt cans in a shipping yard? Spits it out, and then you augment your knowledge with it to actually go back to the customer. This is fabulous stuff that we could integrate, but there has to be a checkpoint.
Right.
Before you press the button.
Is there a way for the sending to be automated as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can add another action
Okay,
in
because if
Far
you're,
Automate.
yeah, again, if you're talking about scale, and for example, you're working with Starbucks and they really want to give a 10% discount for every 1 star, right?
Yes.
It can be automated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Perfect. This
You
is
just
good.
need to add another action.
Yeah.
So you capture this, right? And then add another action to send an email.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing.
And you don't need to touch anything.
In fact, actually, to your point, where we would have that is in Dataverse, right? Like a pricing table,
Yeah.
basically, to say, hey, this
Correct.
happens, then you look it up and then bring the discount.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Recently I have worked on one of the pilot use case to reduce the 60 man days work in the
Mhm.
office. So it's like a client feedback. We didn't use generative AI because at the time it was not available. So it is just we'll have a rule of books in a SharePoint table list. We will refer to it. Based on that, we'll decide whom to send and what to send, and accordingly, same client feedback on certain some 20 parameters actually. So
That's interesting. Yeah.
so we are going to go with that Power BI part soon
Mhm.
to get a report, and also to create scheduled triggers. Like every third quarter, if the person hasn't received 2 feedbacks, send a notification reminder that he is yet to receive the feedback. So
Kind of like a customer journey.
yeah, we can
Almost, yeah.
schedule the rules to it accordingly. It will read and trigger an email automatically.
Amazing. Sorry,
Group
one last.
emails also it can do. It is having the capability to trigger to the group email also. Group common email boxes will be there, right? So from there also you can trigger. It's not that from a person it
Yeah,
has to trigger.
exactly.
Shared email boxes also
Can
you
leave
can
it here.
use to trigger.
Yeah,
Then-
customer service, tier 1, tier 2, L1, L2.
Exactly.
Yeah, also to meet SLAs.
Yeah,
You can
SLAs.
automate the initial response and gathering of requirements.
Sorry, Mike. I think is it possible that you kind of like tweak from like positive negative, for example, in a context of an FSI use case, like a banking use case, if you're gonna be for example for loans origination or loans application, is there a way for us to kind of like gauge, for example, me, I hit like certain thresholds,
Mhm.
automatic my loan will be approved, and then Hannah has like certain scoring as well. We need more documents from her. Is that something that
That is possible, but I think not with this connector, not with the
Okay.
analyzing set limit. This is more of analyzing text.
just text?
Yes.
No like scoring,
Yeah.
I think that one we might need to use the one which the girls did
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
morning.
yeah, the
The
girls
machine
built, yeah.
learning algorithm you
Right.
create on your own, whatever you want to source. They source the data from a CSV, right?
Yeah.
The same way you need to give your source input. You need to create the analysis, and accordingly it will give you a sentimental analysis.
Yeah.
You need to connect that.
Perfect. Perfect. And in
Yeah.
terms of scalability, we can scale, right? Because it's data birth. Okay. Thank you. Sorry for taking your
So whereas
time.
The connector we have used is basically to analyze the text,
The text only.
or it can be a multiple words also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can be the whole
It's
thing.
a range of, it's a any limit to it? The one.
I haven't hit any limits yet, but I'll show you what ran in the
Actually,
background.
similar use case I implemented in my last company,
Yeah.
insurance, direct Asia Insurance, because I was just sitting, I prepared one use case. Basically, it's like, in insurance industry, there are underwriters are there.
Yeah.
Whenever anything comes, it's not like you can just simply go and approve.
Mhm.
You have to underwrite to approve. So this is where we implemented exactly same way. Approval, it will go iterations.
That's
Okay.
good.
Over.
Let me just show you what happened in the background when for this negative. I mean, that's a good use case, right? I mean, positives are definitely sometimes you don't really need to respond to them, but I mean, you can also just reinforce the positive sentiment. But most importantly, you also would want to address the negative ones because you want to convert them. So what happened in the background is this. Thank you, Adil, for this negative. um,
10%.
Negative rating of 1, and your feedback is you had to wait long time for your coffee, which sometimes happens. And so the connector analyzes this. So I'll show you what happens. So probability overall text is it will show you a score. It will say it's probably negative. Overall, it's neutral. Overall text is positive. It's only 0.23. So it will have an output of overall. It's negative because that's the highest score. And also, this is where you can see the breakdown of the sentences. If you have multiple sentences, it will show you here exactly what sentence and what's the score of that sentence. And then it will tally it and see which is greater, the positive, the negative, or the neutrals.
Will it work for like Thai or like other languages or only English?
There are other languages you can choose from.
Thai is the most difficult language to
Yeah.
process through NLP.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have added it, but I think accuracy wise is still important.
Okay.
I haven't tried other languages, but there are.
No, I mean like European language is pretty accurate. The confidence is pretty strong. For Asian language, Bahasa is now accommodated. The response is pretty nice as well. But Thai is a struggle.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not just for us. It's the way
The
the
whole-
language is
yeah.
structured.
Okay, good.
So as you can see here, you can choose the language for that text. I don't see Thai here, so
So AI Builder would not support Thai, or it's like I think 7 or 9. Are there. For Thai and all, we generally use cognitive services of Azure
So you need
because
to.
there you have more language support.
Right.
So it's just instead of using out of the box connector, you start using HTTP GET POST.
Yeah.
So just a small change, and you will still get the same results.
sounds great. Now also it's good to have these options for other languages, not only English. And so what happens is that the condition, remember earlier, the condition is it will check for the overall sentiment. If it's positive, if it is equal to positive, then it will go to the yes branch. But this is a negative feedback. So it went here. What I added is this prompt. I'll show you also here. So this prompt, actually, I added this generate a positive response email body to this message without salutation and signature. So I put in positive. That's why if you can see from the message, it's kind of, it says, we understand you might have been annoyed. We
Yeah.
value your feedback, your time, and as a token, we will give you 10%. You can also set parameters here. Like if customers feedback is negative, give discount like this, for example. I mean, it will generate it for you automatically. So sorry, go ahead. Yeah. Okay. So if you have tried Chat GPT, you can set parameters there, right? It will generate it. It will generate whatever you'd like email body, even script for a vlog, right?
Yeah.
Even script for a play,
Yeah.
essays. So you can set parameters there. You can also use that here. But for this demo that I've used, only generate a response based on a positive response and email body, and this is the output. So it generated this text. This is what I got, the text, and then uh, created an email draft based on that, which is this output. And then you can send it, and you can also automate sending it, just if you don't want to review. But yeah, those are some of the use cases and some creative ideas as well that you can add on top of this solution. My solution is just a proof of concept, I would say. Yeah, and it's great to hear those creative feedback as well. And with that, that's actually the end of my demo. I'll just ask a few more from everyone. I have a lot of QR codes. I mean, I love QR codes. It's easy to use now. So if you can, please add me.
I already added you.
Please add me on my LinkedIn. Also, I just started a YouTube channel. There's not much there yet, but
You talk about Power Platform there.
I haven't. I'm planning to.
Okay.
This is
We can highlight it to our sellers or internal
Oh,
sellers.
sure. I'm planning to add this to this topic. I'm planning to add this to my YouTube channel.
Amazing.
So there's not much there yet, but I'm building it. I'm in the process of building it. So thank you everyone for your time. Thank you for your listening ears and your participation as well. Hope you learned something new and something beneficial as well. Just one more thing. I think this is something we need.